per custom of every Monday during football season, our pleasure to welcome in ESPN college football insider and analyst, the national champion at BYU, Trevor Matich, for another Matich Monday. Trevor, how was your weekend overall, given that BYU squeaked by UTSA?
Well, that added a little bit of stress to the weekend, but overall it was great. There was a lot of drama overall in college football. It was a lot of fun. And by the way, I'm nobody's fashion plate, but Spencer, the Cat in the Hat, called that he wants his shirt back.
I need Blaine Fowler to recite the whole book because he can do it by memory.
Yeah, Blaine, your old teammate on the '84 national title team, he's unbelievable with the poetry and Dr. Seuss and whatnot. So, yeah, let's talk about it.
And, by the way, just one quick thing about Blaine. He was one of the heroes of that national championship year, all year long. But then in the game, the Holiday Bowl against Michigan, he came in when Robbie was hurt and kept things going. Blaine Fowler was one of the heroes of that year.
Absolutely. We love Blaine. Let's talk about the result on Saturday. BYU wins by 7. Vegas said, hey, this is a 35-point line. People a little bugged with how close the game was, yet we look back in 1984 and we see 5 single-digit games. They happen. You don't always play great, but BYU got the win.
Sometimes you play great and the other team plays great too. Sometimes you don't have your A game, now you have to win. The thing is, when things are going well, it's easy. When you're blowing out teams by 40 points, everybody's dancing on the sideline, it looks great, it's fun, it's easy. The hard part is when things aren't going quite so well, the other side gets some momentum and some confidence, and they start making plays. Now what do you do? And this was the first time all season this BYU team has been faced with that. And so and I actually tweeted that out, that they were actually in a fight now with a team, UTSA, by the way, that came into that game ranked number 1 in Conference USA in sacks, number 1 in takeaways, number 3 in total offense. I mean, I think some BYU fans, not knowing much about them, looked at the Roadrunner on their helmet and figured, okay, well, gee, this should be an easy sweep. But it turns out that's a really capable team that can make plays on both sides of the ball, and they did. And BYU was faced with that kind of adversity, and they were able to gut out a tough win, and that says something for them as well.
Trevor, despite BYU being without James EMPEY and Tristan Hodge and Jake Oldroyd, the Cougars maintained the lead for most of the game. That said, you were a center, and you know how vital and critical that position is. How much was BYU affected by not having James EMPEY for a second week in a row?
You're always affected when you don't have a true star at any position, and EMPEY is a true star. But I don't know that replacements on the offensive line were the reason for this. I mean, BYU actually played better than I think a lot of people think. They had 10 actual offensive drives, right? The last drive, they were running out the clock. They scored touchdowns on 4 of those 10. They fumbled it away on the first one. And by the way, UTSA is really good at those takeaways, so give them some credit as well. Second drive, didn't convert a 4th down, and you won't convert every single 4th down. There's no harm in that necessarily. And so you've got an offense that missed some opportunities, that wasn't necessarily clicking on all cylinders, but that still put up very good numbers and still didn't bog down when they got into scoring position as much as it seems like. I mean, they scored 4 touchdowns, they had no field goals, and I think the offense was fine. The defense, I think, is where they need to tighten a few things up. The defense played well most of the game, but UTSA scored 2 touchdowns in the 4th quarter. One of them was an extension of a drive from the 3rd quarter. Those 2 touchdown drives by UTSA featured 3 pass plays of over 30 yards, including both touchdowns. And that's something that BYU's defense will need to clean up. Now, it's not just BYU's defense, though, that runs into this from time to time. You've got other defenses all over the country that are supposed to be some of the best in the country that have struggled at times giving up a big play once in a while, which puts them behind the eight ball a little bit. Alabama had that same kind of problem against Ole Miss. Ole Miss has a great offense, but Alabama's defense got torched a lot. Now, does that mean they can't play? No. It means that on that day, they faced an opponent who had good players who got hot. They got behind the curve a little bit, and they had to struggle to fight to keep up. It's okay for that to happen. It's actually good if you use it as a catalyst to then move on with greater focus.
BYU wins by 7. Certainly the margin was a storyline, yet that kind of went away a little bit once the polls came out on Sunday. And initially, BYU was 15th. The voter didn't have BYU in there. They corrected. BYU was up to 14 in the AP poll, 13 in what we call the SID poll, a.k.a. the coaches poll. BYU climbed a spot. Tennessee losing certainly helped. They were in front of it. But BYU continues to climb in the polls. How high do you think they can climb in the next couple weeks before Boise State?
You know what? This game against Houston is going to be tough. If they win it, I think they'll get even more cachet with those who vote in these polls. The thing is, they could rise up to potentially touching the top 10 because that AP poll is already including the Big Ten and the Pac-12, even though they haven't played yet. And so they've got a chance, if they keep winning, to move up. Other teams will lose because other teams, frankly, will end up facing teams in the top 10 that are ranked ahead of them. BYU doesn't have that opportunity right now. And so they can keep moving up. The fun of that for fans is that we can think of BYU as a top 10 team. From a recruiting standpoint, you can have that top 10. You can go to recruit and you can say, look, you want to play for a top 10 program? Look at us. You can come here and make us even better. We can rise even higher. All those things are really good. But for the team, what they have to do is what they've been doing is stay focused on the moment. And that's why this close win against UTSA is actually good for that. It's Nick Saban of Alabama's favorite dream, that he wins a game, but the team doesn't execute as well as they could so that he can hammer them in practice. They will pay attention to him because they saw the tape and know they didn't play their best, but they still have the win under their belt. And that's the key, really, to continue to rise in the polls.
ESPN's Trevor Matich with us on BYU Sports Nation. It's another Matich Monday. How much do you buy into hype affecting the way that BYU played against UTSA specifically?
By saying that hype had a role in it, there's this suggestion that they didn't prepare as well as they could or they got sloppy. Now, I think it's reasonable that college football players won't be able to maintain the same level of maximum focus for the week of practice every single week. That's difficult to do. But I would not suggest that BYU at all took a step back, looked at themselves in the mirror, combed their hair, flipped up their collar and said, hey, we are super cool. We're like Fonzie in the 80s, right? I don't think they did that at all. I just think it's sort of the ebb and flow of the season. And that's why I say that when things are going well, it's easy. When they're not going well, now what do you do? When you're in a fight, now what do you do? And so they came into this game, and whether they weren't fully ready or whether they just ran into a buzzsaw that they didn't expect, either way, they ended up doing what they needed to do, and I'm proud of them for the way that they fought.
Zach Wilson has another good game, 22 of 30, 292, two touchdowns, no picks, has a rushing touchdown as well. He becomes the fastest Cougar to 1,000 yards in a season by attempts, only 73. Are we seeing a special quarterback season from Zach Wilson?
Yeah, we're absolutely seeing a special quarterback season. He has taken a quantum leap from last year to this year. I think part of it is that he has grown as a quarterback and he's understanding defenses even better and he's throwing balls based on that. Part of it is that his receivers have really stepped up. In the opener against Navy, I'm not sure he had the chemistry with them that he wanted, and why would he? Because spring was limited. He was limited in his ability to throw to them in the summer on their own, and then fall camp was limited as well. So everybody, every offense in the country for the most part, has struggled with chemistry to one degree or another. The fact that he's gotten that chemistry so quickly is amazing because his trust for those receivers is really the foundation of his success through the air right now. He's got the accuracy, he's got the moxie, but when the trust switch flipped, and he started to put the ball out there and trust those guys to make a play, trust them to not blow it and be out of position and make what would have been a completion an interception. That happens to quarterbacks all the time, and the quarterback gets the finger pointed at him. But when he flipped the switch to trust them, and they paid off that trust by fighting for those footballs and making him right every time, that's when I think Zach took the next step because his talent was already there. I will suggest this, guys, that last year, Jake Fromm of Georgia, their quarterback, who's now in the NFL, threw 3 picks against South Carolina. Everybody was saying how awful he was. I did a breakdown that showed it wasn't him, it was the receivers. He threw the ball in the right spot, the receiver wasn't there. He threw the ball on an out route to the right. The receiver got turned around, and he ended up cutting in, but the ball was already in the air where he was supposed to be. It was a pick six. Everybody talked about how Fromm was so wrong. It was the receiver. And so that chemistry with the receiver is a leap of faith. And Zach taking that leap, I think, has paid dividends.
Trevor, you talked about the oft cliche used wake-up call that can come from a game like this. So what type of BYU team do you expect to show up when they go on the road and play in front of fans for the first time against Houston?
You know, I think, Spencer, that we'll see their very best, and they will have to have their very best. This Houston team is a real threat. I mean, they had their opener canceled, I think, 5 consecutive times. They hadn't played until this last week. Then they looked like it against Tulane early. They gave up 2 defensive touchdowns. They spotted Tulane 14 points right off the bat. And they came back and beat Tulane by 18, by almost 3 touchdowns. And so this Houston team, once they got their feet under them, was really dynamic. And now that they've got that game under their belt, they're no longer rookies coming into this season. Now they're ready to play football. And so BYU has got to give it their A game to have a chance to win. We've always pointed to this game as on the schedule as one that they would need to win. That would be a huge challenge. That means after the schedule got reworked. And we saw Houston as being potentially the toughest game to that point. And based on their play against Tulane, it will be. So I expect BYU to absolutely focus and to absolutely play their best game.
Trevor,
everybody hopes it's going to be enough.
Yep, absolutely. Big game with Houston Friday. Among the power rankings of ESPN analysts who live in Nashville, you are on the list with KIRK HERBSTREIT. KIRK has BYU for the second week in a row 2 out in his college football rankings of those who have played. Is that a blue-goggled take? What do you think?
No, I think that's fair. I mean, look who has played, right? ACC, SEC, Big 12. The Big 12 has gotten itself in a whole lot of trouble by losing 3 games on opening weekend to the Sun Belt. And then theoretically, their 2 marquee teams, Texas and Oklahoma, both have 2 losses already. So the Big 12, I think you can say, doesn't get the benefit of the doubt for that 4th spot. Big 10 and Pac-12 aren't playing yet. Other teams in the group of 5 haven't been as dominant as BYU's has been. So then you've got who's available, ACC, SEC. In the ACC, since Notre Dame is playing as a full member of the ACC for this season only, if they and Clemson split, if Notre Dame beats them in a few weeks at Notre Dame, and then Clemson beats them in the conference championship, if Alabama and Georgia in the SEC split, Georgia and Alabama play this week, and then if the one that loses that wins the SEC championship game, that's 4 teams right there that you would be hard-pressed to not put in if you're not considering the Pac-12 and the Big 10, teams that are playing now. That's KIRK's standard, right? So if you get 2 from the ACC, which you could, 2 from the SEC, which you could, BYU is now the second out of that. That means that they've got to be better than number 3, ACC or SEC, or anybody else to get into that second spot. I think it's fair to put BYU there until we start to see the Big 10 of the Pac-12.
Trevor, great to catch up with you. I close with this, a quote from a cat in the hat, or the cat in the hat. Look at me, look at me. Look at me now. It is fun to have fun, but you have to know how. Clearly, I know how to have fun, right?
Look at me. That's what the shirt says.
I thought it was appropriate.
Oh, the shades. All right, Jeremy, here we go. I got to wear something other than that black plastic shirt next time.
All I heard was college football playoff and BYU. I have to put them on. I'm sorry.
Trevor, thanks for the time, man. We'll talk to you again soon.